Okay, we're going to get started. We were running a little early today. We're going to call the meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Note both sides of the room have emergency evacuation doors. We're going to jump into our public works session, and we're going to start with our update on the search for the superintendent. As we mentioned the last meeting, Dr. Johnson announced his retirement effective June 30th, 2020, and the board had mentioned that this public works session would be used to give more information about the next steps, which would be including hiring a search firm that we would be working with and talking about the timeline of events that happen from this point forward. So we're very happy to have Debbie Raises with us from HYA, who's going to give us a small, brief outlook of what it's going to look like to do a superintendent search and what life in Rockville Center will look like for the next several months that they'll be working with us. So I'm going to introduce her right now, and she can get up and give us some information.
Hi. I hope to see each and every one of you out there and whoever's listening to this at the focus groups. I'm Debbie Raises. I'm with the firm of Hazard Young & Associates. We're a national superintendent search firm, and we've been hired by the board to do the superintendent search. HYA has been around for about 30 years and has done over 1,400 searches in that time. I have been with the firm for about 20 years. I am probably one of the oldest, as well as one of the more senior members of the firm. And I have done about 90 searches in that time, mostly superintendent searches. And I am a former school board member from Scarsdale, New York. I was on the board in Scarsdale for 6 years. And by tradition, as far as I know, nobody's on the board more than 6 years. And after I got off the board, I joined the firm of Hazard Young & Attia and started doing superintendent searches. Before that, way before that, I taught school in Durham, North Carolina. I'm also on the Board of Trustees of Westchester Community College, and I am also on the Board of Trustees of Lesley University. Hopefully, you have some Lesley grads who are teaching in the district. Judy Ferguson is the other consultant working on the search, and Judy is a retired superintendent out of New Jersey. She was in several superintendencies in New Jersey and was also the business administrator of a district in New Jersey, and she's also been with HYA for almost 20 years. So we've done several searches together. I've done several on the island as well, and we look forward to doing the Rockville Center search. So Judy and I will be in the district for several days in the next couple of weeks. The first part of the search, after you hire us, the first part of the search is to do focus groups, to ask the same questions of all the focus groups. What do you see as the strengths of the district? What do you see as the issues that will be facing the next superintendent for the first couple of years that that person is here? And what characteristics and areas of expertise are you looking for in the next superintendent? So I will be in the district on September 25th and 26th. Judy will be in the district on October 7th and on the 8th. And there will be community forums on the 7th in the morning and in the evening. As well, there's an online survey that will be going up on your website on September 18th, and that will close on October 15th. The survey focuses more on characteristics of the next superintendent. It also gives the opportunity for you to provide any names that you might have of people that you would like us to think about and to recruit. So we have the online survey and we have the focus groups, and we will take all that information, then we come back to the board in November at a board meeting and we present that information to the board, and then in between that we will also be interviewing and recruiting candidates. Judy and I expect that we will probably meet with 15 to 20 people in person, or if need be, electronically, but hopefully in person. It depends on where they're from and what they're doing. And we will talk to everybody that we meet about what you have given us what you have told us about the district. Now, what's some of the issues, and how would you deal with that? Because when you meet people face to face, when Judy and I talk with someone and interview them, we sit across the table from somebody, and there's nothing like actually an in-person interview when you meet with someone to get to know them and see if they would be a good fit for Rockville Center. So what you really hire us to do is recruit, and we will be doing that aggressively. There's a fine line between being too aggressive and being obnoxious, and we try not to cross that line. But I've learned over the years that when I call up and try to get through to somebody who has absolutely no idea that they're even thinking about looking at another opportunity, and I will say to the person on the phone, I'm calling from another district, and I need to speak with this person, and they'll say, what do you need to talk to them about? I'm saying, I'm sorry, but I can't tell you that. And they'll say, well, what district are you from? And I'll say, I'm sorry, I can't say that either, because if I say Rockville Center, that might start the rumors going in this person's district. So we show people by doing this, and I always get through to them, or they call me back right away because they think it's a horrible something that's happened and they don't know about it yet. So I always get called back. And then the discussion starts about the incredible opportunity that's available in Rockville Center, and let's talk about it, and then let's find a time to meet, and let's get the discussion going. As I say, all I need to do is get their cell phone. As soon as I get their cell phone, I know that we've got them hooked, and then we can get going. So we really recruit very heavily. And then, as I said, Judy and I will interview several candidates, and then we expect to present to the board in the winter a slate of candidates, depending on where the quality drops, somewhere between 4 and 6, but it depends on who we see and what we think are some exciting people. As we've said to the board from the very beginning, you never ever pick somebody that you're not thrilled about. So if this isn't a great group of people, then we would just do it again, and until they find someone that they're absolutely thrilled with. We will be, it is a confidential search. We talk to every focus group about this, so no one is surprised. That means that there is only one candidate, the final candidate. Just one name goes public, and that's because, think about it, if you're in a job and you have absolutely no desire to move, or even if you're looking around and your board hears that you're interviewing at another district, all of a sudden they don't want you anymore. They know that you're looking, they know that you're gone, and it doesn't matter. Even if you say you've been recruited and I really wasn't looking, all of a sudden you're lamed up in your district. So the kind of people, the quality of people that you would want to get for Rockville Center are really people that we will have recruited and that are very happy and doing excellent jobs in their district. So for that reason, it is a confidential search. Just the board interviews the candidates. There will be several lines of interviews, one that's very scripted, one that's not so scripted. Depending on how the board feels about it, there might be another interview to come down to the final candidate. There is no rush. The important thing is that the board be thrilled with the candidate that they finally settle on. And we expect that the next superintendent will be in place, assuming all goes well, by July 1st.
Any questions from board members? We've kind of asked all of our questions, or I just wanted to add that we had opportunities to speak with the women from HYA and also from the references that they had provided us, and we were very thrilled with the work that specifically Debbie and Judy have done with districts, especially locally. They had gotten glowing reviews and came highly recommended to us, and we're very excited to commence our work with them. So thank you in advance for everything you're going to do. We're going to open up the microphone only for this subject. If you'd like to come up and ask a question or make a comment regarding the superintendent search only, you can come up and say your name and address.
Okay, well then I hope I see all of you at the focus groups. I can't emphasize enough how important it is for you to come and let us understand what the district is and what you're looking for, because those are our marching orders for who we will be recruiting and going through applications for the slate to present to the board. So thank you in advance. I look forward to meeting all of you, and thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So again, we're going to open the survey starting tomorrow. and it'll run till October 15th, so everybody can start participating right away. We'll put that on our website. Okay? All right, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Moving on to capital projects. Dr. Johnson?
I'll turn this over to Mr. Bartels, who will provide us with a brief summary of where we are with a number of things that we've been discussing since the summertime. So, Robert?
Okay, only a few updates this week since we met last. Here at the high school, we had the woodshop floor that had buckled. We poured a new floor that is now complete, and all the equipment's back in, and that room is back in use. We had playground repairs that did get done at Wilson, Watson, and Riverside, which was some small repairs. We're still waiting for some parts for Hewitt and Covert, and they should come in shortly, and then as soon as those come in, those two playgrounds will get repaired also. Also at Covert, we finally have the stage has been cleaned up, and that's being utilized. The metal shelving has been put in place, and the stage has been cleaned up. So that's now in use at Covert School. And just one last thing is we're continuing with our landscaping at the different buildings. We are now at Covert, so they're in the process of working on the front of Covert, and we're going to continue to move through to the other buildings once Covert's finished. That's it.
Any questions from board members? Thank you. Okay, we're moving right along. We're going to policies. We're in stage 2 right now of the immunizations of students, 7511. Thank you for the changes. Any questions or comments from board members?
Just, Noreen, somebody asked me, and I just figure I'll put it out there. There is no requirement for a flu vaccine for school-age children?
There is not. It's recommended, of course, but
But there is no requirement.
no.
Anything else on 7511? Okay. We'll move that to stage 3. Then we have 7511R, the guidelines.
Just on page 3, the last sentence says current information regarding immunization requirements may be found at website, and it doesn't give you. What? It's missing. It's missing, yes. Website missing, so.
It's a good catch. Anything else? Any questions? Okay, then we'll move that to stage 3 as well. Okay, can I have a motion to approve the minutes from the regular meeting September 5th, 2019?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Can I have a motion to approve financial reports as listed?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Any questions? All in favor? Aye. Can I have a motion to approve receipt of financial reports as listed?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Any questions? All in favor? Aye. Can I have a motion to approve board actions A through D with a PAR addendum and an extra addendum?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Can I have a motion to retire to executive session to discuss specific contractual and litigation matters?
So moved.
Nope, it's a public work session.
Second.
Well, you came a little late, but you missed our presentation from HYA, and we had questions only for the superintendent search.
Okay. my statements. Can I ask one question on the superintendent's search?
If it's related to the superintendent search only.
I know the other topic is first, so I won't discuss that. And I wanted to congratulate you.
Thank you.
And wish you good luck as president of the school board.
Thank you.
For that reason, I'm back from my sabbatical last year, because I know it's a very important year for the future of Rockville Center, and I care about it. Jeff Greenfield, citizen taxpayer, Yuba Court. Probably the only person in the room was around when we did the last superintendent search. And we had some issues with respect to a prior superintendent, and I wound up in the middle of litigation on that. I was deposed in litigation that transpired during that. So I want to make sure we execute a superintendent search in a manner which is inclusive of the community. And I came here with that specific question in mind, other than the PTA and the parents of the children in the community. What outreach are we making to the community as a whole with respect to the search?
Sorry you missed it. We'll go back. We're starting a survey starting tomorrow for the entire community that opens from tomorrow through October 15th, so it's open to all. We have focus groups scheduled for next week in various forms, so not just PTA, but different constituencies, different groups that were identified. And then we have open forums on October 7th, one in the early morning and one in the later part of the day, where anybody can attend. And what we're doing is building a leadership profile with our search firm so that they can then...
Who's our search firm?
HYA. They were just here earlier.
I saw the lady.
Yeah, yes. So they are going to put together a leadership profile for Rockville Center based off of all of that community input. So between the surveys, the focus groups, and also these forums, they'll create that leadership profile, and then they'll start recruiting, doing their interviews, and then they start to bring a slate forward to the board. So what Debbie had been explaining is that at some point, with the candidates, it becomes a confidential search because a lot of candidates would not come forward to apply for a position if it was going to put their current position in jeopardy. So the board will be the only people that will interview the candidates.
What about the finalists?
We will come down to one finalist, and that is the name that will come to the public.
And so the process, I participated in the process in Lynbrook as citizen taxpayer there. And they had they included the Chamber of Commerce, which I represented, and the former assistant superintendent of schools was part of the search firm and was surprised to revisit me during that process. I explained to her I'm a citizen taxpayer in multiple jurisdictions. And they were a little bit more inclusive with respect to the process towards the end, understanding and respecting what you're saying and the confidentiality of the candidates, and giving an opportunity for input with respect. I think it was down to 2 candidates, one in-house candidate and one outside candidate.
Interestingly enough, we interviewed 3 search firms, and all 3 search firms that we interviewed said the exact same thing when it came to the confidentiality. So it wasn't that we chose HYA and that's their way, but all 3 search firms that we did interview said the same thing. And one of the things is again, putting themselves out there and putting themselves in jeopardy in their current position, or if they end up not getting the position, having to return to their district and kind of putting themselves out there and saying, I went for this job and I didn't get it. You don't want to create that lame duck scenario for this candidate, and that's something that Debbie was talking about. So
The
it was...
candidate that didn't get it in Lynbrook returned to their other district and got a substantial raise. They were rewarded
Right.
for shopping. They didn't even have to go to
That's
Costco
a happy ending, but
Right,
it doesn't always work that way.
They didn't even have to go to Costco
Right.
to be rewarded.
Right.
I mean,
So that's, again, regardless of who we had chosen, that was the advice that was given to us from all the search firms. We've done a lot of research into it, had talked about it extensively as a board. We know that maybe would feel that the community was not participating, but that's why we have all of these things that we are asking the community to participate in, and just to keep that confidentiality so that we can get the right candidates for this job. We will present that final candidate's name at the end.
timetable
It could be several months. We really are, the way we look at it is, we have kind of a rolling out a timeline in terms of the community participation first, but that we don't want to kind of commit ourselves to any specific date, because as Debbie had mentioned, if we did not find candidates that we were happy with, we could kind of go back and dig again. So it would be wrong for us to say we're going to have a candidate by this month. We hope over the next several months to have it going the way we would like it to go, but we have until, we will have somebody in place July 1st.
But what is your rough timetable, not keeping you to it, to introduce that candidate to the community?
Several months. That's honestly the honest answer.
And also, with respect to this, I hope you do a better job of publicizing it than tonight's meeting, that this was on the agenda. I went to the app that I have in my phone, which hasn't been updated, understanding you've had a lot of computer stress and issues, and I couldn't get to the right place to find the agenda for tonight, or it may have been here a little earlier, but I decided to take my 96-year-old mother out to dinner before I go out of town on business.
Nice.
That was my priority.
All right, we'll take a look at it. Thank you.
Okay, because, and I hope you keep communication with the community with respect to the status and the updates and everything concerning the process. I think the process is very important. The last go-around before Dr. J, there was a flaw in the process, and we wound up with a flawed candidate that got us into a New York State Education Commissioner court order litigation. And the worst thing that ever happened to them is that Jeff Greenfield ran for the school board. The best thing that ever happened for Jeff Greenfield, he lost for the school board. And I almost beat an incumbent, and they were very upset. And I came out as a candidate because I was so upset with the flawed process. At 22 years old, I knew that they didn't do the right thing by the school district where I grew up in. I'm counting on all of you well-educated minds, caring, concerned parents, and taxpayers to do the right thing by the community.
Absolutely, and we will definitely be keeping this on our agenda going forward so that we can always make sure that we have updates at our meetings.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Jeff.
I think I was doing a motion to retire to executive session, so can I have a motion?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we're adjourned, thank you.